Coming up on ATV News.
The votes are in. We'll show you who made it through the primaries.
We'll show you how scientists at USU are trying to end the spread of a mosquito-born virus.
I'm in Salt Lake to show you why some Cache Valley Muslims come down here to do their grocery shopping.
And how some North Logan residents are getting deer meat without having to hunt.
Jalen Moore hit 1,000 points. We'll show you whose record he's gunning for next in sports.
Rain, snow, or sunny skies. We'll let you know what's coming up in your forecast, and we'll start our series on your air quality.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Welcome to ATV News. I'm Tori Green.
And I'm Taylor Condi.
Deputies have released the name of a Cache Valley man that was killed in an accident last night. Last night about 5:30 p.m., Cache County deputies responded to an accident at Rose Hill Dairy. Javier Cruz got his foot caught in the equipment of a tractor while attempting to get off. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and no medical help was administered. Cache County is still investigating the cause of the accident and regrets having to bring the news to the family.
This is just devastating for any family member who has to go through something like this, and we feel for the family and wish them the best, and we'll do the thorough and exhaustive investigation to make sure we come up with the answers to this case.
Jensen said this event is a tragic incident.
A mosquito-borne virus is spreading through the Americas rapidly, and scientists at USU are leading the way to finding a cure. The virus is called Zika and was discovered in 1947 but has only become a recent issue. A bite from the mosquitoes is the main way the virus is transmitted, but sexual contact can spread it as well. The virus has been confirmed to be in 23 states and in the District of Columbia. But USU scientists believe the virus doesn't pose any major problems to people in the U.S.
We typically in America have air conditioners and screens on our windows which prevent a lot of that virus transmission through these mosquitoes. So the likelihood that we'll see it in the U.S. other than returning travelers from affected areas is probably low.
Zika can survive in tropical and warmer climates like the southern U.S. The World Health Organization says up to 4 million people will be infected in the next year. You have probably seen the signs for candidates all around campus, which means it's election time at USU. Presidential candidates and their friends are campaigning for the elections that will wrap up tomorrow. Primary elections were Monday and Tuesday and eliminated 2 of the 4 candidates for USA president. Mitchell Stevens and Ashley Wattups remain. Both candidates have platforms that will continue the mental health initiatives made by the current president in addition to their own ideas.
I feel like Utah State has a great experience, and I just want to refine the Aggie experience and just add more great things to it, and really that would benefit all students at Utah State.
ATV reached out to Wattups but was unable to get a comment from her. You can access both platforms in their entirety online and cast your vote at vote.usu.edu.
Your child getting sick can be a parent's biggest fear, but not all parents agree on the best way to prevent it. Our Emily Duke is live in the newsroom to tell you what's causing the controversy. Emily, what do you have for us?
Well, babies like this little cutie can get sick really easily because their immune systems are still developing. But the choice to get their shots or not is not something that all parents agree on.
Alicia Jacobson's son Damien has autism.
When he was about 18 months at his wellness check, we were suspicious, so then I went to the Up to 3 program on campus, and they have unofficially diagnosed him for me.
Despite her son's condition, Alicia is still vaccinating Damien and her younger son Connor.
Even if it was the cause of his autism, which I full-heartedly believe that's not, but if it was, I still think that I would rather have a child with autism than a child who died of the measles at the age of 4 because he wasn't vaccinated.
According to Utah state law, students are required to have vaccinations for 13 diseases before they enter kindergarten. But parents who don't want to vaccinate can get an exemption.
That's just their decision. I don't like it, I don't want it, and I'm not going to do it.
Even though Johnson is personally for vaccinations, he says it's important to respect parents' decisions.
Me personally, I'm an advocate of immunizations, and I'm an advocate of public health. It doesn't impact the decisions I make in terms of how I treat kids or families when it comes to their decisions.
The choice not to vaccinate surprises some parents.
It's funny because a lot of parents are concerned about like their kids dying of SIDS or suffocating in their cribs, but then they don't vaccinate their kids.
According to the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, when a community gets below 90% immunized, they lose what's called herd immunity, which is the community's ability to protect those who can't get the vaccine, such as babies, pregnant women, and those with a compromised immune system.
Jacobson says parents should think about more than just their kids when making the decision not to vaccinate.
It's selfish of parents to do that. Like, I understand your kids are always going to be more important than other kids, but there has to be a balance.
Fortunately for babies like this, even though many parents are choosing not to vaccinate, herd immunity is still in effect in Cache Valley. But experts ask that you do your research before deciding not to immunize your kids. It's okay, Zelia. Back to you, Taylor and Tori.
Thanks, Emily. That was such a cute little baby.
She was adorable.
Anyways, when we come back, find out where you can go to read about local urban legends.
What and how much do you know about Black history? We'll show you what some people do to remember.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Urban deer are causing more damage than good in North Logan. Our Natalie Humphrey shows us what the city is doing to bring down the population.
These deer are staying as still and quiet as possible, but they aren't as afraid as they seem. They spend a lot of their time in North Logan residents' yards. There are about 250 estimated deer living in the city.
We have had a lot of complaints over the last several years about the deer here in North Logan. The problem has been that the deer came down, they had their fawns down here, decided that it was easier to be down here than up there, and it was safer.
The deer have caused about $20,000 worth of damage just last year by eating gardens, knocking down trees, and car accidents.
Last year we hauled off 30 that we had trapped. I put 71 deer in the landfill because they just died.
Of the 30 deer relocated, about 4 came back, and 60 to 70% died because they weren't used to living in the mountains.
The deer back over here in this yard could end up on your dinner plate.
It's kind of a touchy subject because we chose to euthanize the does and the fawns, and rather than having the city pay to have it processed like some of the other cities have done, we chose to put it up to the citizens. We built a list of people who wanted to have deer meat, and I had a list of about 85 people.
We're committed to continue to manage, and this is not that we want to eradicate the deer, we just want to bring their population down.
It was a little hard on me because euthanizing that many deer is not very fun.
North Logan will continue the program this year. Hyde Park and Logan are deciding how they manage their deer this year.
Utah State has plans to tear down the towers in Central Campus in the next few years. They were built in the 1960s. Sources say the infrastructure is failing and it's too expensive to keep maintaining them. Housing solution is in May. This field next to the towers will become the newest addition to campus housing. The new residence hall will be a suite style and co-ed as well. The building will include study rooms, a fitness center, and music rooms. Valley View Tower will be used for the 2016-2017 school year, but then will be torn down. And Mountain View Tower will be replaced in 3 to 5 years, but those details have not been officially determined yet. The University Naming Committee has not decided on a name for the new building, and rates have not been set.
Black History Month is history, and a lot of which changed the landscape of our nation today. We show you what USU Black Student Union did to show their support for Black history.
Tonight's event was called the Soul Food Dinner that was presented by the Black Student Union, and we choose February to do this event because it is Black History Month, and with this event we like to open up the community at large and the Utah State community to just some Black culture, something that they would not have had, outside of this event. Some food that they may have never tasted, people that they may have never met.
Tonight we're here celebrating this incredible Black Student Union event. Great food. I spent several years in the South. I love Southern fried chicken, and so it's been an especially great evening for me.
I think with the celebration of Black History Month, we just get to connect in a different way. We get to just learn about our past, learn about our forefathers and what they've done for us and the way that they've paved for us to be here today.
Coming to understand the importance of Black history, coming to understand the contributions that were made by Martin Luther King, that were made by so many that followed him. It makes us all a better people, and so I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be a part of that.
Dedicating a month or a week or a seminar or something that people then have to concentrate on can only improve us as a nation.
Black History Month is a time to celebrate, but it's also a time to educate.
You may soon be able to order alcohol from Crumb Brothers Bakery in Logan. The Logan City Council has approved a request for a liquor license from Crumb Brothers Artesian Bread. Because the bakery is located close to Logan High School in a park, a variance was required so only a certain amount of alcohol can be served. A representative for the business spoke to City Council saying the owners will follow the laws if given the license.
I know that they will implement strict policies at their restaurant to safeguard our community from illegal alcohol consumption, including the proper training of their staff, the checking of IDs of anyone trying to purchase alcohol.
The request will now go to the state for further approval.
How far would you go for a piece of meat? Would you drive more than 80 miles? That's how far some Cache Valley residents drive to get their meat. That's if they get it at all.
It may not look any different, but this meat is special. It is halal meat, which is prepared special according to Islamic beliefs. It is also unavailable in Logan. It is available in Salt Lake, though, at markets like this one.
We do have on a regular basis quite a few students and customers coming from Logan. So they stock up every week and they come up. And sometimes one will come shop for 3-4 people or whatever, have a list.
The protocol for halal meat includes facing Mecca for the killing, a prayer saying the slaughtering is in the name of God, sharp knives so the animal doesn't suffer, and draining all of the blood. In addition, fish is always considered halal and pork never is.
The moral importance for eating halal meat is to follow God's order and to follow Prophet Muhammad's teachings.
Because of this, some Muslims in Logan will have to get in the car and drive more than 80 miles just to get halal meat. This is Yusuf. He can't always make the trip to Salt Lake to get halal meat, so he has adapted.
It's frustrating, but it's also kind of taught me self-restraint and kind of adjusting my diet. Living in 21st century, living in a small town city in America, it's hard to access all of that.
While it is important to Muslims to eat halal meat, adjustments are allowed.
If we run out of every single option, is it not forbidden to us to eat a meat from, regular grocery stores?
Many Muslims, however, still choose to make the drive to markets like this one.
Nowadays, the only option for me is to go to Salt Lake City to get from halal markets in Salt Lake.
Jeffrey Dada, ATV News.
Abed also said that people coming from as far as Montana to get meat from his market. That's amazing.
Coming up, it's ATV's Brock Damjanovic will have your Cache Valley weather report.
The current temperature is 38 degrees.
Aggie Air is an innovative engineering program exclusive to Utah State. It provides opportunities for students to get hands-on and real-world experiences. By building model planes that photograph and scan detailed images of landscapes, Aggie Air can change the way we use the Earth's surface. Watch as Aggie Air takes flight.
You might be looking forward to the end of the inversion season, and you're certainly not alone. But climate experts are telling us that the next season it comes around, it's only going to get worse. In the first part of our ATV Air Quality series, I found out what inversion is, where it's going, and why it will be back. Cars and trucks emit a wide variety of gases that are toxic to humans. And when the sky is an inversion blanket, these fumes become trapped, and things get even worse for people's health.
Jacob, our son, ever since he was little, he's always gotten really bad croup. And he always has phlegm. And in the wintertime, it irritates that to where he's constantly got phlegm going, to where then he gets a sore throat from clearing his throat all the time.
This means that when the air is bad, Jacob is stuck indoors.
I do like to go sleighing, and since I really can't go outside, it kind of bums me out because sometimes I like to build jumps on the little hills and go flying in the air.
That same air, though, is inverted, trapping the air pressure inside the atmosphere, like the air in a bike tire. And when you pump that tire up, it increases both the pressure and the heat, which, according to Utah State professor Robert Gillis, causes some serious atmospheric issues.
The atmosphere becomes very, very stable, and that means that anything that is emitted from the surface, whether it be pollution like smoke or whether it be something that you can't see, whether it comes out of the exhaust of our vehicles, it gets trapped in the lower atmosphere.
And while the inversion season is ending, it won't be gone for long.
Yeah, next year it will be back too. And then there's also a global warming signature which is suggesting that we are going to have a regional effect of more inversions in the future.
Which means that according to climate models, it is only getting worse. Jacob has one of his own solutions for this air quality problem.
We could just really put solar panels on the top of the cars and have them be run by batteries.
In the next couple of weeks, we are going to explore our air quality problem in more detail.
We'll see who else it's affecting and what you can do to help fight the problems. But what's going on in the weather this week, Brock?
Absolutely. Well, if we look over here, we can check out our national radar. Very obviously, there's something right here, and that is a lot of irritability in the atmosphere, and that's causing a lot of actually tornadoes to drop down near the south. There's currently a PDS tornado watch, and that is currently extending towards the east. And what that means is it's a potentially dangerous situation. There's been a lot of devastation down there so far, a couple deaths. It's been a pretty sad situation, and what we can expect from that in the future is a lot of wind. There's a lot of powerful wind all the way up the east coast, even up to New England. So now let's check out our own state. So what we have here is a little bit calmer weather. What you see in these little dots is that's what's reflecting back up to satellites, and that is the precipitation that are in the clouds. So while it's up there, we're really not going to see a lot of it, but what you don't see is coming in from the west coast is we actually have some clouds and just a lot of air coming our way. And if we look at our 7-day forecast, we'll be able to see how that actually affects us. Right here we have a high of 37, 38 today. But what's going to happen is it's going to get pretty sunny towards the weekend. You're going to start feeling really good about that. And then on Saturday, it's going to rain. So don't get too excited. Take advantage of your Friday. And then with that rain that comes in, on Sunday, we're going to have a 50% chance of snow over Sunday night. So your Sunday should be pretty clear. And then Monday, 20% chance. Tuesday, it's going to clear up a little bit. We're still going to have some clouds. So you can look forward to next week. Hopefully it'll be a little bit drier than this weekend. So now we're going to toss it over to sports. Taylor, what's going on?
A whole lot, Brock. Coming up in sports, on the court, one Aggie was breaking records, while on the ice, some Aggies were breaking faces.
A group of engineering students at Utah State has designed and programmed an innovative remote-controlled submarine. USUB is fully student-run. They designed and built the parts from the ground up and are always working to improve the submarine software and capabilities. These students show that computer science is more than just typing on keyboards. Dive right into engineering with USUB.
With that snap of the net, Jalen Moore became the 37th Aggie to break 1,000 points in his career. Moore is a sophomore who grew up right here in the Valley, and besides sporting an incredibly luscious afro, Moore is averaging 15 points per game, shooting 44% from the paint, and has become a leader for the Aggies. Now Jalen has his eyes set on breaking his father's record, Jimmy Moore, who played at USU in the 70s and finished his career with 1,164 points.
It's a great experience for me, but, I don't know how many more points my dad has on me, but I'm coming for him. I want to pass him, so that's my next main goal, along with winning some games.
Jalen hit that record-breaking shot against Colorado State, where the Aggies were trying to keep their momentum alive after finally snapping their 5-game losing streak. Chris Smith put on a show for the home crowd, scoring bucket after bucket for the Aggies, including this deep 3-ball. And Jalen Moore showed he has more than a shooter with his dirty dish to Elston Jones. The Aggies battled back and forth with the Rams until this call, where it looks like Shane Rector's heading to the line, but the refs reversed the call and say he was on the ground. As you can see here, Coach Duryea wasn't having any of it. But following the call, the Aggies went on a 15-4 run to secure a 72-59 win over the Rams. And the players say they were excited to have their coach show some passion.
When you see Coach D get fired up like that, you're like, okay, I don't see that very often. You saw Stu do that a lot, but Coach D is a more calm guy, and when you see him do that, it kind of brings a fire within the team and makes us want to play harder, and I think that's what we did.
The Aggies suffered a loss at Fresno State on Saturday, but hope to get back on their feet at Nevada tonight. The Lady Aggies hosted Fresno State on Saturday and had high hopes of knocking the second-place Mountain West Bulldogs off their throne. The Aggies fell behind early in the first quarter, but Funda Nakasoglu put the team on her back, dropping bombs from beyond the arc not once, not twice, not even 3 times, and she sidestepped her way to 4 3-pointers. The Aggies defense stepped up as well as Tiana Ducek said, "Get that out of here," and Deja Mason said, "No, no, no, ma'am, not today." The Aggies battled back with 2 minutes left, but the game slipped, losing 67-61. With the season winding down, the players feel like being inexperienced isn't an excuse they can use anymore.
A lot of it is inexperience, I guess, but we can't keep blaming that. We've had enough games throughout the season to know that, and we play so much harder during our practices against our scout guys that we should have a bit of that experience.
Next, the Aggies host Nevada tonight at 7 in the Spectrum. Utah State took to the ice to host our beloved friends from Provo at the Eccles Ice Center on Saturday, and it was a beatdown. The Aggies and Cougars played some in-your-face hockey. The Aggies went up 4-0 after Dagan Walton hits the back of the net from the slot. The Cougars finally got on the board with this deep slap shot, but their celebration was short-lived as the Aggies continued to pound away at the Cougars. The Aggies went on to find net 5 more times, including this top-shelf shot by Morgan McJimsey. The Cougars' frustration finally showed in the third period, where the gloves came off and the fists started to fly. And Aggies sent the Cougars home with their tails between their legs with a 9-1 victory. The Aggies will play Saturday night at home in the Western Regional Tournament at 7. And you can bet I can be there. Those games are just so much fun to watch.
Man, I should have been there, man. I would have jumped on, put my skates on and shoot, fight with them. Fought with them, man. I would have tore them up because, we don't like them. But anyway, thanks, Taylor. When we come back, local groups call themselves the Naughty Knitters, we will tell you what kind of naughty coming up.
And see how one USU tradition is encouraging students to give back.
Need an adventure? The Outdoor Recreation Program at USU offers a wide variety of rental equipment, from winter gear like skis, snowshoes, and snowboards, to summer must-haves like kayaks, rafts, and camping gear. From sleeping bags to Dutch oven necessities, we have it all. So stop in and see us. Located at 950 East, 1000 North, in the basement of the distribution building behind Romney Stadium, we're open Mondays through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So stop in or call to get your gear today.
If you change the date on your iPhone to January 1st, 1970, you will cause your phone to stop working. A recent internet post told Apple users that doing so would bring back the classic Macintosh theme to their phone, but instead, it puts it into, quote, an unstable state. Experts say manually changing your phone's date to before May 1970 tells it to divide by 0, which causes the phone to stop working.
This problem occurred the way that most software bugs occur, is that nobody foresaw this situation occurring. Apple didn't ever foresee someone setting their date to January of 1970, and so no one knew that this would cause an issue.
Ellis said Apple is working on a software update to fix the problem. He advises anyone who has changed their device's time to take it straight to an Apple service center and not to try to fix it themselves.
This week is all about love. Well, loving your donor. Our Connor Camo is live on the quad to explain what this week is all about. Connor, what's up?
Thanks, Tori. It's Love a Donor Week here at USU, and the members of the Student Alumni Association are educating students on how they can give back to their school.
Students braved the cold February air to be part of a monthly tradition, True Aggie Night.
Our tuition only covers 19.8% of what it costs for us to be here at school. The rest is made up by donors and the state.
The event kicked off Love a Donor Week, where students can participate in various activities while learning how to give back to their school.
The program is called the True Blue Pledge. It is designed for students to donate money based on their current level in school. It's a good way for students to donate money without breaking the bank.
If you start as a freshman, you start with $5, then $10, $15, and then $20. So by the time you've graduated, you've donated $50.
Even though the donations help fund the day-to-day operations of the school, Bookman Kennedy says the week is about more than just a college.
Honestly, it kind of just reminds you that Utah State's a lot bigger than any individual person, and it takes all of us to really make the education that USU offers possible.
With traditions like True Aggie Night, it is a reminder for everyone to give back, no matter how big or small the amount.
Faculty actually give up portions of their paycheck in order to help fund the university.
Now Love a Donor Week will be going through the end of this week, and the Student Alumni Association has events through the end of this week that will help students become more educated about how they can give back. Tori, back to you.
Thanks, Connor. If you want to donate to the True Blue Pledge, visit www.usu.edu/alumni, then click on Student Alumni Association.
Many people may not know that Special Collections at the Merrill Kazir Library on Utah State University's campus has one of the largest collections of American folklore in the U.S. The Fife Folklore Archive became part of Special Collections in 1966 when Austin and Alta Fife began donating their fieldwork material to the university. Students have access to detailed collections like the Bear Lake Monster and also other students' collected projects. The student projects include works of folklore minors and graduate students.
Folklore studies and the folklore program are married together because we work closely together to make sure students have a way to have their materials preserved and also a way for students to come and reference.
Special Collections is open from 8 to 5 Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and from 8 to 7 Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tying knots is something you learn as a child, but one local group is still using that skill decades later. These women are the core members of the Naughty Knitters. That's Knotty. They got their name after their husband suggested either the knitting kilt or the knitting knitters. The group has been meeting to the knit to knit, crochet, and work on other projects for longer than the ladies can remember. But the group does more than just tie knots. The Naughty Knitters welcome new members to join them tomorrow night at 6 at the Cache County Senior Citizens.